We can compare it to heaven, right? In the sense that everyone is speak about it, but no one know how to get there. Everyone wants to get there, but I don't think that somebody was there to kind of speak about it and went back to kind of teach everyone how to get there.
How is incrementality like heaven and maybe a total failure at the same time? Hello and welcome to Mobile Heroes Uncensored, where our super smart guests give you cheat codes for growing mobile apps. My name is John Koetsier. My co-host is Peggy and Salz, and today we're talking about incrementality. And apparently, it's kind of like heaven, but also somewhat hellish at the very same time. Plus, we're also going to chat about what to do when incrementality fails and a ton of other insight on measuring mobile growth campaigns. Peggy, who's our expert?
Expert is the right word, John. We couldn't do it better. Our guest today is VP of Marketing at Beach Bum, so a games company, but also a frequent keynote speaker, sharing his firsthand insight on UA. And he's seen it from all sides. So not just marketing, John, he was head of UA at Viber before taking the position of general manager Israel for the mobile measurement company Adjust, recently, of course, merged with AppLovin. So UA, growth hacking are the focus, but his chief talent is telling us the hard truth about app marketing, what it takes to succeed. That's probably why he compared it to heaven, and that it's not possible to reach it. Welcome to our guest, Moshi Bloom. What great to have you.
Guys, hi. Pleasure to be here.
Super happy to have you. It is late where you are and where Peggy is, and you are watching a couple kids. So we're going to try and do this fairly quickly. If they come in, just say hi, introduce them to a global audience. All good. No worries. We're working at home. This is real life. Let's start here. We're going to dive into incrementality. We're going to dive into why it's heavenly or hellish or whatever. We're going to dive into a lot of other stuff, but let's start here. What are you doing right now? You've had a crazy, interesting career. And why is what you're doing right now awesome?
All right. So today, I'm the VP of marketing for a company named Beach Bum. Beach Bum is a game publisher and a game creator, and we take um, evergreen games such as Begamon, Spades, Gin Remy, and we're now launching our Domino app. And what we do, like we put the special spice that we have to kind of make the game more engaging, make it more exciting for our users. And we are very good at it, apparently. And
Excellent, excellent. I'm glad to know Beach Mom isn't about swimwear. That's what I was thinking, or maybe a surfing company or something like that. You do make games. That is good. Now, you went from growth to measurement to getting back in the growth game. Why?
so when I was at Viber, I was fascinating about how to, how to track my campaigns, how to make my marketing work, and how can I leverage all of the tech tools I'm using at the best way to create the ultimate growth pack, right? And then I thought to myself, what would be like a really good way of getting into the business and learning what others are doing, how others creating their growth stack from scratch. And the best way is just like to get on board of one of those ad tech companies and adjust for there for me. I enjoyed working there. It was a unique opportunity to see what others are doing and to kind of talk with would say, ex-colleagues and now potential clients in understanding what their needs, how are they thinking for the same ideas and the same concepts that I was facing when I was the head of user acquisition in the Viber. And it was fascinating, and it was actually expediting my knowledge and my experience, not only dealing with what I do, but talking with hundreds of clients and see what they do. But when time passed and I kind of felt a little bit nostalgic about what I'm doing, and every time that I was speaking to a new client, I would say, "Well, I wish I was in his place. I wish I was in her place." Right? It's that time when you're kind of thinking, "Well, maybe I should come back to my natural place." And an opportunity occurred, and one of my best friends actually moved to Barcelona to join Scopely, and he was the VP of marketing at Beach Bum. He called me and said, well, I have this amazing company and I can kind of fix you my job if you want. And I really want to fix you my job because I want somebody to lead the company to great achievements. And I met with the team. They were fantastic. And so far, it's been an amazing experience in Beach Bum.
Well, we love having you in Growth Moshi because you've gone full circle and you've seen a lot and you've done a lot. Now, we are going to talk about incrementality in a moment, but I want to just look back because it is January. It is the beginning of the year, Q1. We had an incredible 2021. What were some of the biggest changes for you in the last year?
Besides switching from the ad tech,
Besides switching, we're probably more about the hands-on marketing challenges.
actually, one of the things that I felt that I'm missing out is the iOS 14, right? I know that everyone is looking about this like amazing obstacle or great obstacle, would say, and wish that it was never there. But in my opinion, it's like it's a disruption event in the marketing system. And I thought that I knew stuff about it because I was sitting in a just learning about
Insider information.
every bit and bytes of what you can do and how you can deal with it, and talking internally with Apple, talking internally with Facebook and Google, understand what their solutions all about. And clients were starting to ask some questions. So you need to speed up your knowledge very fast. And one of the things that I was missing is that, well, I have this amazing knowledge about how can a perfect solution to the iOS 14 would be. I need somewhere to implement this solution. You can ask my team, but one of the main focuses for 2021 is actually tackling the scheme, tackling the events, understanding how can we actually make it work or make it work again for our Apple marketing activities, for our iOS marketing activities. And it seems like we're on the right track, or it feels like we are on the right track. I'm happy to say that I think that we kind of made a lot of progress into kind of addressing it. And, you know, I think that if you will ask me like half a year ago and now, I'm feeling much more comfortable in buying iOS traffic and in making it work.
So can you lift a little bit on your strategy for dealing with this in 2022?
As a performance-driven marketeer, I can't tell you what's going to happen. I can tell that I will try everything, and everything that shows some vital signals of opportunities. That's where we're going to dig in, and that's where we are going to kind of make the most out of it. So trying or starting by spreading very thin and wide, and then understanding where's the potential in every game, and from there dig into what count and what makes impact. If you ask me specifically about where's the potential that I can see now, I'm definitely certain that iOS users are there to be found and to be bought in a very sophisticated ways. I would say that's another thing that is very exciting about 2022, from my point of view, is predictive LTV modeling, which is something that we are experimenting and something that's, I would say, have a lot of potential and a lot of future. And, recently we were acquired by Voodoo, and that opened many opportunity for us as like a small or medium-sized developing company meeting the giant or the leader of the hyper casual industry. And, it's very interesting to see the collaboration and the synergies that our companies as a casual game developer company can do with the power, the methodologies, and the experience that Voodoo has in the publishing world.
Love it. I mean, that's obviously part of a big theme of 2021 as well, right? All that consolidation, bringing that first party data together, being able to do cross promotion over a wider suite of apps, right? So there's a lot going on there. I also love what you said about the changeover, deprecation of IDFA, iOS 14.5 and 15. In a disruption is opportunity. if you're able to seize it, right? So
That's true.
that's really cool. Now, we wanted to talk about incrementality. In the pre chat with Peggy, you kind of said that incrementality was sort of like heaven. How come?
Well, I didn't say it was like heaven. I said it's we can compare it to heaven, right? In the sense that everyone is speak about it, but I don't know how to get there. Everyone wants to get there, but I don't think that somebody was there to kind of speak about it and went back to kind of teach everyone how to get there. It's much more of a concept more than a reality. To kind of get there, I would probably need to kind of go with you to the journey that I had with incrementality, which started back in 2016 when we were starting our first campaign with Fiverr, our first big campaign with Fiverr. And we had like a lot of money. We said, well, we're going to explode and it's going to give us a lot of advantage over our competitors. And we spent that money. And what we discovered eventually that, when we increased although we increased the spend, we didn't increase the number of installs. And then how it can be, it's against everything that we know, everything that we learned and everything that we knew so far. And then after exploring a little bit of it, I kind of discovered the fact that some activities may cannibalizing other activities. And then it took us into a long journey of understanding what's incremental, what's not incremental, how to calculate it, how to kind of measure it in the context of installs. Right. And I think that back in 2017 to about 2018, I had a series of lectures about incrementality. It was a nice lectures. One of them actually was recorded by a Just and made me half famous, I guess. Uh,
Everybody's famous for 15 minutes.
yeah, 15 minutes of glory. That's correct. But in a more, I would say, mature approach to it, and over the fact or over the experience that we had with trying to understand how to calculate it or bring it even further from installs to revenue, from revenue to paying users, from paying users to actually understanding how much a dollar that I spend on Google or Facebook or Apple or any other networks is actually contributing to my bottom line of profit. That's something that I found absolutely or almost impossible to get. It's one thing to try to understand your incrementality when it comes to installs. It's a whole lot of things to try to get your incrementality when it comes to revenue, because you can say that installs is something that is solely depend on your activity, on the marketing activity. And maybe it's true, maybe it's not true, but you have your viral channels, which are in cooperation with your CRM team, and you have your branding activity, which is maybe part of your marketing or not part of your marketing, but more or less that's something that's you're responsible for. But when you take it one step further into incrementality of revenue, it becomes more complexity, like much more complexity, 10 times more complexity, because app is not something that is constant, right? It's a very similar to a living human being or living creature. Everything is changing all of the times. All the departments are doing their work. You have your R&D fixes, you have your R&D development, you have your product mini games, you have your product initiatives, you have your CRM personal offers and CRM activities. And each one of those activities is impacting the revenue or the user behavior in a certain way, right? Most of the times, or a lot of the times, you can kind of maybe isolate the specific impact that you have in a certain period of time, but you won't be able to do it over a longer period of times to kind of get all the or attribute the revenue correctly to each one of your activities. And when you look at it from the marketing perspective, right? Your Facebook campaigns, your Google campaigns, you can say, well, but those are the ones that generate more revenue than others, but that would be a little bit of a lie, because you don't really know what the users have done or what the users did, or what the journey that the user made in order to kind of make this purchase, make this revenue stream. And most of the time, it's not going to be just seeing my creative and then deposit. It's going to be a lot more than that. And therefore, it's super challenging. And, Peggy said that a lot of marketers that she was speaking with talked about how they want to invest more in incrementality over the next years. I would say, well, yes, of course, do that. It's very important to kind of make an impact with your marketing, but don't count solely on that, or don't make it your sole goal. That can be very disappointing to the point of like impossible to make it happen.
I really like that perspective actually. And I was kind of preparing a little bit to argue a little bit with you because I've seen some interesting things on incrementality. I've seen what Mayor Sadra is doing with incremental, for instance, and he comes out of the ad network world doing some interesting things. But I love the way that you're positioning it is not a total failure, but it is very challenging. And if you have other sources of data, so on Android, obviously you've got very, very granular sources of data still. On iOS, you still have deterministic sources of data. You still have good, with modeling, very good data on what's actually going. It's limited. It's more limited than it was, but it is deterministic. It's available. It's right there. And it's, very hard to introduce fraud into that equation. Not impossible. I've seen it, but it's hard. So that is really neat. And then adding some of the flavor of incrementality around there, especially as we move a little farther, maybe Android gets a little harder to measure along the lines of iOS 14.5 or 15. Maybe, as third-party cookies are going away and other things like that and happening in different realms for more and more privacy, it becomes more and more important. But layering in multiple forms of measurement, including your spend and all that stuff, seems to make a ton of sense. And then having the incrementality stuff that just is kind of like a second guess, a second check. Are we insane here? Are we not? And maybe even doing some intentional tests like, I'm only going to do this campaign for a while. I'm only going to do that one for a while and just see what happens. That seems to make some sense. Is that what you're talking about?
So first of all, let me put it very straight that incrementality is a competition to the last click attribution model, right? That we are having always. It's like a different way of measuring stuff, and maybe it will contradict everything that you found with your attribution, with your last touch attribution system, right? As you said, it's a different way of measuring your performance in a different scale and with a different tools. That's for sure. Now, I agree with you that in today's world, which, we don't no longer have user level data, in which if we used to talk about multi-touch attribution models or metrics, now it's, it's long gone, right? No one is sharing. And even if they are sharing, you don't have anything. Sorry, even if you have something about attribution, it's not going to be very accurate due to the
Privacy thresholds.
My baby is crying. That's
Okay,
that's
go ahead. Go ahead. We'll take a little break.
What did you? Oh,
Who are we looking at right now? Who is
Yeah,
this
who are
growth
we?
marketer?
The name is Golan. It's a mountain in Israel, and he is 4 months old.
Wow.
Oh,
Amazing. Youngest
So,
ever mobile hero, Peggy.
yes, I was just gonna say that. I was just gonna say that. And just adorable with the little ears.
Yeah. Yep. Awesome.
all right, let me see if I can make it happen. I would say like this, right? First of all, let me be straight and say that incrementality and last cloud attribution is competing with each other. It's not something, or they are both ways of measuring impact of your marketing and spend and marketing activities. But measuring it with each one of those systems can bring you to totally different results. That's
Mhm.
right. Secondly, I would say that what other companies are doing, and you mentioned also Sadra for a reason, I think that he's the closest one to reach incrementality and to reach like the calculation of reaching there or making it work. However, I would say, let me be very accurate here, that in my opinion, measuring the bits and bytes of every campaign, the bits and bytes of every creative change with a measurement of incrementality is impossible. In my opinion, it can be a measurement of whether it's good or not, whether I'm on the right position or on the right direction or not. But trying to take incrementality and make it in the sub campaign level, in the creative level, whether my green creative is better than my blue creative or not, that's something that is almost impossible.
And he agrees.
Golan agrees.
Yeah, that's maybe that's the first time that we are bringing a mobile hero here.
Yeah,
Unbelievable hero.
Okay. You lay it on the line. It is not easy to do incrementality. But if someone still says, hey, I like a challenge, I'm going to pursue it, what would your suggestions for that be?
So definitely, definitely explore incrementality. Definitely think about ways to kind of measure your campaigns, measure your installs. Make sure that you're increasing the number of installs with every campaign that you're making with every budget that you're spending. That's for sure, right? And there are some easy targets that you can kind of find and then measure your incrementality. For example, Apple search ads. It's a really interesting because you you can understand why that's a challenge to incrementality when you're searching your own brands, right? When you're searching your keywords and those ads are competing with like the first top couple of organic results. So over there it's a little bit more easier than other sources to kind of measure your impact, measure and understanding whether you're buying your own traffic or whether you're spending, you're defending your branded keywords, or maybe you're just making yourself a new install that will never arrive other way around. And that's a start. That's where you can kind of find incrementality. And by the way, like I don't know if you ever saw it, but there are some activities which you can absolutely see the incremental impact that they have. For example, when you're launching a new application, if you just put the application on the store, nothing will arrive. You will not see even a single installs. And the moment that you start spending, you actually can see that you're building more traffic and actually some organic traffic are also coming into the organic installs coming into the application. Or if you're opening a really good campaign, you can see the trend. You can see those organic installs rising up or piling up. Or you can see the installs in total or total installs that you're having in the application piling up, and actually understand that this campaign is very incremental. So what I'm saying is like, don't try to kind of find incrementality where it's hard to get it. Just like do your work amazingly well, and incrementality will come, or you will see, you will sense this incrementality when actually there.
I kind of love that because, you're launching a new app from time to time, and that's a great time to just look at it. Is this particular traffic source incremental? I'll just start a campaign there for this brand new app. And you're not testing on every app. In a mature app that has 5, 6, 15 different sources of traffic and users coming in, that's really quite smart. Okay, briefly, because we know that you've got a very small mobile hero that is waiting for your attention right now. What are you doing at Beach Bum for measurement right now?
So we use last touch attribution, and to maybe take Winston Churchill quote and put it into use of attribution. Like last touch attribution is the worst kind of way to measure your marketing campaigns, except all other metrics of measuring your marketing campaigns, right? Um, and we do look at what did you create by the end of the day? How much did you increase the share of users, the share of paying users, the share of our first time depositors. All of those are being accounted when we are kind of analyzing our campaigns. But most of the time, it's just like focusing on what makes the difference or focusing on the sources that perform well according to our last pass attribution.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Good lessons there. Do want to just zoom out a little bit to you as a person, right? VP of marketing at a games company. What's your favorite game?
Oh, my favorite game, mobile game or like just game, mobile game. So I love Brawl, by the way. I have like a 8 years old son now. He was 6 when he started playing Brawl Stars, and I had to show him that his father was something. So I started to kind of play myself and like teach him some tricks and some tips in order to kind of be better at the game. And then I fell in love with the game. And by Brawl Stars, I actually understood how Supercell is doing it amazingly well. I'm a big fan of Supercell. I would say that's the one studio that I have to give it credit. They are kind of stand up above everyone else in what they do, in the way that they design their games and the way that they design their, I'd say, marketing, but it's not marketing. It's more of an influencer marketing. And I think that they do an amazing work. And I've been learning from what they're doing in their games and suggesting them to what we can do in our games.
Wonderful. So we know where Moshi's going next. I mean, but
I'm not going anywhere. I think that it's an amazing house. It's an amazing place.
I was just joking. I was
If there
just.
is something that I would try to do is maybe turn Beach Bum into the next Supercell.
Oh, great answer. Great answer. You're
Yeah.
love that answer. Excellent. Last question. We know you got to go. Your top 3 tips for mobile marketers in casual games heading into 2022.
Oh,
top 3 tips.
I don't know. Try to make an impact. Don't go where everyone else has meant. Make sure to kind of do everything that you do in a data-driven and a experimental way, so you can kind of actually understand that what you did made the impact and not other things that did. And I would say that there is a place to be more sophisticated in the way that everyone is using or everyone is doing user acquisition, whether it's in iOS 14, creative, network buying, Google, Facebook, TikTok. Everything can be, you need to just find the right, or you need to explore the system, find its weakness or find its potential. And then you can kind of find places when no one else has been, and there you will strike. That's what I'm thinking. And I think that's like, try to learn, because, experience and knowledge can go a long way.
That's the hacker marketer right there.
Yeah.
The hacker marketer. Find that spot, find that weakness, find that
sweet spot.
urgent territory. That's excellent. Thank you so much, Moshi. We know you've got a very young mobile hero waiting for you there. It has been an absolute pleasure. Great insights, great time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. And hopefully I will be invited again.
Maybe with a slightly older mobile hero with you.
The 8-year-old one. No, I'm just kidding. No, absolutely.
Next generation. Yeah.
Great. I love it.
All right, guys. Take care and good night.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much.